Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio, brought to you by SEO SAMBA. Comprehensive high-performing marketing solutions for mature and emerging franchise brands. To supercharge your franchise marketing, go to SEOSamba.com. That's SEOSAMBA.com.
Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio. Stone Payton Lee Cantor here with you this afternoon. Today's episode is brought to you in part by the Business Radio X Studio Partner Program, equipping franchisors to help franchisees dominate their local market. To learn more about serving your market and growing your business, go to mybrxstudio.com. Lee, this is going to be a fantastic segment. Please join me in welcoming back to the Business Radio X microphone co-founder with SignStream.net, Mr. Daniel Shub. How are you, man?
Great to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, Daniel, before we get too far into things, why don't you kind of remind our listeners about SignStream? How are you serving folks?
SignStream.net is an innovative new platform that really bridges the gap between big companies and small businesses, giving them the ability to display their own content on their own TV screens very, very easily. That's been very difficult these days, and we think that our platform has been very successful in helping them with that.
So now the way it works is that in a business, they can have a actual television screen. Now television screens are so inexpensive, pretty much everybody has them to some extent. They have a television screen, and then with your service, it allows them to kind of have content kind of flowing throughout the day that is sales content. It could be, just pictures of what their customers look like. It could be anything, right? It's their content to do with what they want, right? That's the benefit. Like that, like in a doctor's office, you'll see a screen and it'll have some doctor stuff.
Yeah, it's usually some generic doctor stuff with really small print because that particular doctor doesn't have the ability to do it themselves and they can't get their own messaging. They're doing it for social media. They're doing it for their emails, but there seems to be a lacking in the digital signage space. So we've created something that is on every platform pretty much. It's already in their TV. Our SignStream app is available on Samsung, LG, Amazon Fire Stick, Sony, and you just download it and put in your channel name. Once you create your own channel of your own images, videos, social media feeds, weather,
you can put whatever you want.
Whatever you want. It's all internet. It's all connected. Yeah.
And then, so the benefit to the customer is what?
The benefit to the customer is being able to engage with them, really. Who picks up those brochures in the
office?
In
right.
the office. It's incredible. We have a few different locations that have just loved the ability to prime their customer with information that otherwise wouldn't have been noticed because they come in for a particular service, but they have this other service that is either going on for a few weeks or a special, and they don't have to sell it anymore. It's being asked. It's being sold to them.
Right, because especially if you have a waiting room of some kind, right, where the person's kind of captive anyway, and they're sitting there, and like you said, they don't want to see a magazine from 5 years ago, or else they don't want to watch the news, which a lot of places are showing somebody else's content for whatever reason that is. You can be getting them ready. You can have some thought starters about, hey, did you know we do this? Or, hey, did you know we do that? Or here's a happy customer. It makes the customer feel like they've, it's a trustworthy location.
Yeah, and if they're already running engagement type campaigns on their social media platforms, that can all be brought into the location. Again, it's all internet based. So whatever they're already working on and doing can just be amplified using the screens that are in their location.
And then is it like, how techie does the person have to be to run this?
Absolutely not techie at all. It is as easy as loading a picture or video into Facebook.
So can they pull like their Facebook page?
Yeah.
Like that can be some of what appears.
Absolutely. They don't even have to do it separately. They can just let their Facebook feed be their content inside. Mm-hmm. The advantage, though, to using our platform is that you can have that in addition to the stuff that's you only want people in your store seeing. things that are happening right then and there, as opposed to bringing them from the outside in. It's marketing is a complex world these days. There's so many tools and integrations out there, and that's where the business really started, was from marketing consultation. And it's all about knowing your audience and where they are and how you want to talk to them.
Now, when you're working with the franchises, are you typically working with the franchisor or the franchisee?
We've seen both happen a lot, actually. It totally depends on the franchise model. The companies are so big these days that we find we are working directly with the franchise owner sometimes. And on occasion, we're working with the higher level up in the C-suite executives, just because they're providing this basic service at a very low cost to their franchisees. And it's just giving the brand itself as a whole more amplification. Mm-hmm. And that's a great entry point for us to then, if they allow it, because of all the different, variety and rules and regulations in the different franchises, we can go in and offer each location its own channel, or divide it up regionally, or, it all depends on the level that we work with.
Right. Now, some of what the content that can be shared is kind of cross-promoting with other local partners, right? Isn't that some way to create engagement and create kind of other partnerships going on, being generous with other people that are in your network?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it all started, it's internet-based. So we opened up the ability for users to make something public on our platform, so that businesses can share it with one another. More recently, we added a map feature, so you can actually list your location and have other businesses directly send you their content, or promote it yourself and say, hey, this guy's right, across the street from me. Would you like to promote this? Might be a budget attached to it. It might be just like a friendly nonprofit organization that wants to get their message seen and knows that particular location might, be willing to do it at no budget. But the concept is an open marketplace for people to do what they want to do with their own screens.
So now, how does kind of the financial model behind it? What is the fees to have a screen, and what, like you mentioned, there could be a way to create additional revenue streams if you're going to charge somebody to be part of your screen. So how does that work?
It can work in a variety of ways. We've left it really, really open. The bottom line is, it's your screen and you do what you want with it. When it comes to the ads and making additional revenue, it's an equity-based model. So as long as someone is displaying your content, they're getting paid a portion of a budget that you've predetermined. We don't go above that. We don't do anything outside of what you've already agreed to beforehand. And the payout model is simply, if two people are displaying it for the exact same amount of time, they get 50% of the budget that the advertiser has selected. And because there's all the user credentials that you can have different levels of access, it could be an ad that's brand, run by the franchisor, but the brand with a larger budget and can be displayed on lots of different screens and everyone can making a little bit of money. Or it can be a budget that's much lower because it's by the local franchise owner, franchisee, and they're only sending it to the specific locations around them. And of course, since it's whoever owns the ad can decide if a different business can display it using a simple trash can or checkbox.
Now, is this something that the person is typically using it for their own kind of self-promotion and communication, or is it something they're using it for additional revenue?
Right now, it's more for self-promotion and communication. We are trying to build out that additional revenue base a little bit larger. We've got a few different businesses paying for ads at other businesses, landscape artists, real estate agents. They're buying time on other people's screens. And then we're seeing that but from location to location, it's more of a shared collaboration type thing where they're not putting a budget, but they want to promote people coming into those areas.
And it's the individual location is using it primarily just to inform people about the goings on. They're not using it as a way to generate revenue per se, other than just internally generating more revenue for themselves.
Correct.
Now, when a company starts implementing this, have you have an idea of how quickly they start seeing kind of people paying attention? Like, all of a sudden, do they get more Facebook likes because they put their Facebook page on their Instagram or whatever?
Absolutely. And it's not just us that have noticed it. There's oodles of studies going on. The Digital Signage Federation is a great resource that has tons and tons of things. Routers even has expressed the importance of adding digital signage within your location to your marketing plan. It increases your engagement in your customers. It's that simple. So they're going to go onto your Facebook more. They're going to go onto your Instagram more. They're going to remember your brand more. And when they see it in other locations around town, that's only amplified, especially when it's local content. And that's really where the concept for SignStream lives, is in that importance of having omni-channel presence in the real world and on the mobile phones. It's all connected. We're working with other companies that are rerouting data and using locations that point the users into the specific areas and getting data on how it's being seen and used. And there's really some amazing stuff going on, and especially in the Atlanta startup community.
So now, if you were kind of giving counsel to a company that's never done this before, and maybe they have a screen, they're playing CNN or doing something else, how would you say, okay, do these 5 things to get going? Like, how would you optimize the digital signage for an individual?
The basic question is, what are you trying to accomplish when someone's in your location? Are you trying to educate? Are you trying to pitch something? Are you trying to get them to sign up for something?
So you should prioritize what outcome you desire.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's the first thing. And so, like you said, some of them could be, I want education. I want everybody to sign up for my social media channels. I want to tell them about a special that I'm running, or get a referral or something like that.
It could be as easy as, I want them to eat a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And to take better care of themselves, and to bring them into a specific mindset, so that's going to be more susceptible to them purchasing at a later point in the user experience. UX and UI is popular to talk about in the development community, but it's now becoming more applicable in the real world spaces, because and I say now, in the past, 10, 15 years even, but we're bringing it into the small business world. Big brands have known about it for a long time. We see Amazon doing their own retail locations in their own way, obviously. But bringing the digital space into the physical world for retail, small businesses and retail locations is something that's been lacking behind for quite some time. And we hope that we can help these small businesses with that. And franchises are a huge part of that.
Now, can you share a story? You don't have to name the names, but a success story, somebody that was able to leverage the platform and really make a noticeable impact in their business?
Yeah, there's a few to choose from. The numbers are always hard to quantify. We have a couple ways that we're helping with that, but the best story, I think, is a community center who has been able to increase the engagement of all of their activities significantly just by having them promoted on the multiple screens in their rec center. It's they've been thrilled with how easy it is to create something and just put it up on all of their screens. They don't have to do anything except for set them up once and keep them on. And the platform does the heavy lifting. Yeah, exactly. What more can you ask for?
Right.
That's that we're not creating a new world here. We're just trying to help smaller businesses take advantage of this one
and leverage some resources they probably already have at their disposal. They're just not using it to its full.
In most cases, and like you said earlier, the cost of screens. Absolutely ridiculous. Amazon Prime and Black Friday, the Cyber Friday deals, they had some nice screens going for really cheap. I'm talking under $500 for this big thing that people look at. You can't argue that. We're humans.
Right.
When people see a big screen, they look up from their phones, and that's the idea.
Now, for you, what's the most rewarding part of this?
The most rewarding part for me is seeing the small business owners finally able to engage. A lot of franchise owners and small businesses, it's not mom and pop, but a lot of times it is mom and pop with their kids and their employees. And, they have a lot to share. They have pictures, they have messages, they have organizations that they support and local schools, and they want people to know about that. They want to share that. And until we walked in the door and said, hey, why aren't you displaying that on your TV? They had no idea. They're just like, I didn't know we could. That's the
Right.
best answer for me. And I'm just like,
Exactly.
let me just give me the remote real quick. And I just download the app and put on our demo channel. You just type in demo and they see that it's our content. And then I say, now let's create an account and go to signstream.net, and they get their password and credentials, and it's saved. So they don't need to worry about that either. And they just start building content from their phone that already has content builders like
Right.
Canva or PowerPoint or whatever they're using on their phone to make their social media stuff, and they just throw it onto their screens. It's they're amazed by how easy it could have been and why they weren't doing it before, and that for me is the most fulfilling part.
Right. It's a missed opportunity. You already have it there.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of use it to its full potential. So now, we talked about different ways to use it. Is there certain industries that you think should be kind of leaning into this that aren't taking advantage of it right now?
From an industry's perspective, there's definitely instances going on all over the place. Everyone's trying to figure out still. For some reason, indoor digital signage has lagged behind in the overall digital signage ecosystem.
But if
which
you
is
have a
enormous.
waiting room, you should have this. Like
Definitely.
That's like a no-brainer, right? If there's any point where people are just sitting around doing nothing, this is a no-brainer.
Even if they're only passing by a wall for a couple seconds, because it only takes a few seconds for someone to notice something on a screen. But waiting rooms, retail locations that have sales that change often,
Mm-hmm.
places that have sales that they're not in control of. So bigger brands and franchises that want to be responsible for the content going on, but just want to give their franchisors an opportunity to bring in more business and educate better. Sometimes it's them as well. So, how
Right.
often do emails get lost?
Right.
And, we see a lot of offices using it in their elevators, and, it's,
Right, where you have a captive audience. Well, and I would even forget about waiting rooms, but even restaurants that are, they could have 1 million outlets, but you're sitting there eating and you look up, why am I watching the news? Like, who wants to watch the news while they're eating when you could be telling them stuff that's happening locally around them? You can be showing them specials. You can be promoting the local high school events. Like, there's so many things you could be doing to serve your community that you're missing out on by not leveraging something that's so easy to use and so affordable.
Yeah, it's baffling to me, and then my the people that have supported our company so far, which have been a great number at this point, agree, and hopefully we're seeing some very big changes since last we spoke. So hopefully that we see some bigger things going on in the near future.
And now, if somebody wanted to learn more, maybe see the demo, is it something they have to be here in Atlanta, or they can access this from anywhere, right? Because it's the internet.
Yeah, they can use it anywhere. They can download the app from any TV. If their TV doesn't have an app player, or it's a really old TV, they can plug in an Amazon Fire Stick, or you can just use your laptop or tablet and type in demo.signstream.net and see our little slideshow that we've put together. Or create your own channel, totally free to try at signstream.net, and that'll take you to our login page also, and just start loading up stuff, start getting better use of your screens.
Good stuff, Daniel. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story today.
Thanks so much for having me again. I appreciate it.
All right, and then the website one more time before we wrap.
Signstream.net.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. And this is Lee Cantor for Stone Payton. We will see you all next time on Franchise Marketing Radio.